Welcome to Really Raha, the podcast for women who know they're way too powerful to be stuck in a 9-to-5. I'm Raha, multi-six-figure high-ticket sales coach, PhD student in global leadership and change, and sponsored skateboarder. I went from serving tables and chasing tips to mastering high-ticket sales and building income streams that don't require me to trade hours for dollars. Here we talk about the real path into remote sales, landing aligned offers, closing with confidence, regulating your nervous system under pressure, and building a skill set that pays you from anywhere. This isn't bro sales. This is psychology, power, and feminine precision. If you're here, it's because you feel it. Freedom isn't optional for you. It's inevitable. Let's get into it. Hello, queens. Welcome back to the Really Raha podcast. You already know what I'm about to say. We have another special guest today because every week has just been compounding with student success stories from inside Revenue Room. And I have someone super, super special today. Today, I brought on Haley and Haley's journey. Oh my gosh, Haley, I feel like every time I talk about you or talk to you, I get chills. I haven't even introduced you yet. Like
every time.
Your journey is for the woman that just wants to know this is absolutely possible for her, because you went from ground zero to having massive energetic shifts, quantum leaping, manifesting everything you set your mind on to the point where I'm like feeling your energy, reading your mind. And it's just, I can't even say it right now. So we're just going to dive into your story. But first, I want you to just introduce yourself, say how we met, how long it's been, and then from there, we'll start to dive a little deeper, okay?
Sounds great. Hello, everyone. I'm Haley. I'll start there. Everything you just said, I have chills as well every time we chat, but it's no coincidence that I'm here in Revenue Room or speaking with you today. Just a little backstory about how me and Rahaf met. I actually took a week off when I was still at my last job. And I took a week off. And during that week, I just knew I needed something different. I knew that I needed to leap into whatever was next for me. I was on a spiritual journey since 2020, and I just knew that whatever I did next was it for me. But I didn't know what that was. I had no idea. I just knew that the week I had off from work, I got really clear. I did a lot of energetic cleansing. I told you I cleared out my emails, my computer, my phone. I cleaned up my finances. I just did a lot. And I knew that after that vacation, I was going back to work and I was going to leave soon. I didn't know what that looked like. The first, I think, or second day, I went back to work. I started seeing things all over my Instagram for high ticket sales. And I saw things for high ticket sales before in the past, but I never grabbed onto it. I never saw it as an opportunity for me. I was in corporate before and I did sales. So I had a lot of different beliefs about sales. I just wasn't ready to see that. But I started seeing these videos and my interest started peaking, but I didn't do anything further. And then I guess one day I was just scrolling on Instagram, and it was, like I said, right after I decided that I was going to leave my current job. I didn't know when that was. And there was a DM in my request folder from you. And I felt your energy because I never answer my request folder. And I was just like, oh, something's here. Let me just respond and see what happens. And I don't know what it was, but I answered and we talked, and I think you felt it too. And it was just an instant connection. And I was like, oh man, I don't know what type of call I'm about to get on with this woman, but I think this is it. And I didn't even know what it was. So I got on my strategy call with you, and I was using the words, this is my vehicle to success. I know this is for me. And it was just like my higher self came out and started talking. And I remember we hung up and I was just like, I'm doing it. And old me had so many different beliefs and fears around like investing in myself or money or like figuring out the how. None of that mattered. I just knew that I was going to join this program that you were creating. And after that first call, it was a Friday, I think, and we scheduled our follow-up for a Sunday, and I was just like, I'm doing it. Like, there was no hesitation. I was just ready to talk to you about the program, and we got on that call and I did it, and here I am. And holy cow, it's only been 2 months, which is insane. And my life feels and looks completely different than it did 2 months ago.
You say 2 months ago, and it like blows my mind because every single week is like a year with the amount of accomplishments you've done. And all you did was show up. You showed up in your highest self. You did not let any limiting belief, any glimmer of doubt get in your way. And it gets to be that easy. And not to say it was easy, but you put the work in so that it could feel easy, because ease is a choice. And you leaned into the fact that I made this decision. Nothing will get in my way. And that is the ultimate ingredient for success. And here you are, 2 months later, you are taking real calls. You are taking real calls. You have just also become a support coach inside Revenue Room. And you are helping these women after they invest and after they take that leap to help them with the grounding, to help them set their plan for their 4 months in the program. And that's honestly the way that it aligned. It just felt like puzzle pieces. And you've gotten to see the team grow, because it was only two of us, right? When you first came in.
Yeah.
And now we're at 7
Wild.
and potentially 8 as of tomorrow. So you've gotten to see what it's like to be on the back end. We brought you into our Slack channel. So I love how you've been able to just, momentum has just been taking you every step of the way. And, let's take it back a little bit. So in that first week, can we talk about like what that first week felt like for you? Because you came in with the decision, with the readiness, but talk to us about what that first week was like.
Yeah, I have chills. That first week, I said yes, right? I invested in the program. I knew this was it. I went back to my current job, and I loved my current job. I loved the people there. It was a positive environment. So it didn't make sense as to why I even wanted to leave. I just knew that there was something greater out there. So the first week I went back and I said, you know what? I just invested in myself. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be consistent, and I'm just going to follow the curriculum and the course. And I did. And along with that, everything at my current job started to get even better, and the things that I wanted started coming in. And I was like, oh, what is this? And as that started getting louder, I was like, what the heck did I just do? Like, what did I do? What did I sign up for? And I started freaking out. And I said, I've never invested this much in myself. I don't even know what high ticket sales is. What am I doing? And, all the doubts started getting loud. It felt like my current reality was crumbling, like relationship problems, drama, and that stuff I haven't dealt with in so long. It was just like chaos. So like things were going well in my current role. Stuff was crumbling, but there was also chaos and drama. And then I'm like, what the heck did I just do? And I was like, okay, well, I'm already in this. So luckily, I've done a lot of inner work and have done a lot of mindset work. So I just like really got myself through it. And I think one of the things I told you that really like clicked for me, and I was like, whoa, something's here, is it was the end of that first week. I had my first accountability email, and I was so drained. It was a weekend shift. I was so exhausted. I got home and I was like, I can't even look at a computer right now. And then bing, a notification for an accountability email came through my phone. And I was like, I told myself I'm showing up for myself. Like, let's just do this. And I start typing out this accountability email, and I feel myself expanding. I feel my energy rising. I'm getting happy. And I'm like, whoa, I literally just typed the first sentence of this email. And something shifted in a different direction than I was. And I was like, okay, this is an energetics thing. This is me increasing my frequency. I said, this revenue room is special. So it was that when I could first feel it in my body that I was like, okay, we're just going to keep going. And I just kept plugging in, and the doubts kept coming, and I kept walking through it. So like the first week was kind of nuts, to be honest.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up the accountability emails. So for the listeners listening, when you come into Revenue Room, every single week, like not only are we in the trenches with you, we help you with the accountability. So we send an email every week. I send you an email, and this is kind of like a little check-in of like, here's your checklist for the week. How'd you do? What are some wins? What are some gratitudes? And Haley, of all the accountabilities I've ever received, like the emails, yours have been the only ones that have been essays where I have like scrolled. Yours have been the ones where you consistently, like I ask for 3 wins, you give 4 wins.
I think I gave 10 one time.
Yeah. Because, and the fact that you keep having these wins every single week, all you did was lean in. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel tired. Nope. Snap shift. I'm going to lean in. That counter affirmation is so automatic for you now. But like you said, in the first week, we're still carving the neural pathway. We're still believing in ourselves. We're still trusting in ourselves. Even when the external reality is not showing the inner work that you're doing, it starts to catch up. But there's this gap of time where we just got to make believe until we believe. And you did that. And I kept feeling your energy. I'm like, what is Haley doing over there on the East Coast? Because I'm over here on the West Coast, just feeling so hard into you. And the way you just took initiative to welcome the girls that are coming in. Like nobody told you to do that. Nobody told you to do any of these things. And to me, I'm like, wow, like this girl has such buy-in to this, and she's a student. And slowly, little by little, I started noticing the students in Revenue Room who really stood out to me. And then I created a practicum tier, Radiance Room, to give them even deeper hands-on training and more applicable, being able to take my calls and so on. So a spot opened up where we needed support with triaging and sending reminders, all this stuff that is the back end of the business. And then I was like, wait, I remember Haley saying that eventually maybe she wanted to create an offer one day. I'm like, how valuable would that be? Like, what a win-win for her to see the back end of a business and also get deeper skill set training on closing. So you came in and your specialty was the triaging and setting. So you could go to those calls, but you still came to the closer calls. I'm like, great, because guess what happened? We started getting an enormous amount of calls booked in the calendar. Like what, I think we had 12 booked yesterday.
Oh my
and it's
goodness.
just every day is just building. And I'm like, well, we need someone else to take the calls. Well, guess who was right there, initiative taken in the calls to be able to just practice closing even deeper. So Haley started taking calls like, what, was it this week or last week? Because honestly, time.
It was like 3 days ago.
No,
You
it
asked me-
wasn't.
Yeah. I saw something. I was following up on something today, and I was like, oh my gosh, I talked to her yesterday. That is crazy. It felt like a week ago. It just feels normal now. Like I feel like I've been taking calls for a month.
Yeah, because 24 hours operates differently when you're aligned. If you're working a 9 to 5, whether it's kind of nice, kind of close, or you absolutely hate it, you are like, time does not feel the same way because you're just looking at the time. Oh my God, I can't wait to clock out. Oh my God, I don't want to be here. And if your vibration is in that place, oof, time is just not on your side. But when you are so locked into alignment, your values are aligned, you're free, you're flexible, you're in your feminine energy, then so much happens in the collapsed timeline where most people in a year you're having in a day. And that's literally why. And for you, like, can you kind of take us into like the tangible of how you've been able, like for the listeners, if you could just break it into a formula, how have I been feeling you manifesting all these opportunities where literally the next day I'm inviting you into an opportunity that you manifested the night before? Like, how did you do that, Haley?
Yeah. Before I touch on that, I also want to note, like, it's no coincidence, the timing of everything, because like I said, I put in my 2 weeks, and the day that I was like, oh, what did I just do? this is my last day. I need to talk to Rahaf. You were in my DMs asking me to triage.
I remember.
It was the literal day, and you didn't know it was my last day. You had no idea.
I remember
You had no
that.
idea. So that just the timing of it all, like I created so much space, and it just has been unraveling ever since. But, you know, like you said, the tangibles, it's the inner work. High ticket sales is a spiritual and a personal development journey. And two things that I am very passionate about, two things that have changed my life. And I have just been, you know, every day since I've been in here, I realized how can I be intentional about raising my frequency today? What can I do to raise my frequency? And along with that, what can I do to release energy and create space? So it's twofold. And the more I release, the more I raise my frequency, the more my thoughts are clear for these things to drop in. And I get a download and I can realize what it is. And then you pick up on it and the next day it happens. And, you know,
we're connected.
We are connected. And I'm so grateful because literally every time I've had a thought, you're there a minute the next day after, and it just happens. And I just remember I was like and the way I manifest, I'm like, you have to believe that you are already this person. And like you said, believe it until like you actually feel it. And going into this, I was like, I want to be a closer. So yeah, I'm going to show up to the closer meetings. I have an opportunity here. Like I'm going to show up to the closer meetings. And I think it was literally like 2 meetings later, I wrote my accountability email. I am a closer because I was like, I felt it. And there was no hesitation. And me, even 2 days before, would have been like, oh, am I ready for that yet? Have I done enough mocks? Like, no, I just knew I was ready for that. And I put it in my email and you felt it behind my words. And then boom, what happened? I was a closer. So it's just believing it. It's doing the inner work, the energetic inner work. And it's just like showing up and taking a step in the direction of what you want to be. So if it's being a closer, what is something you can do today to align with that? You know, it's that hard, but that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people think that you need this external thing before you believe that you are that thing, when it is the exact opposite. You embodied the closer identity before there was any physical evidence that that was the case. And as a result, instantly, you started taking calls. You started making commissions. You started supporting the women in the group. And it's just incredible. I mean, your journey is incredible. And can you talk to us a little bit about the calls you've been taking? Like what that's felt for you. Can you take us in that?
I just felt my heart expand as you said that. You know, I realized that I had a big mission here and I was going to help women in some way. I didn't know, chills. I didn't know what that would look like. But I started hearing things like when I started listening to podcasts, like sales is change, sales is service. And I started taking these calls and I did believe that. I believed it because my life has changed. I am a woman who has been changed by high ticket sales. And it's nothing to do with that. Like my life has changed and I am more confident. I am happy. My cheeks hurt from smiling all the time. I'm just so fulfilled. I have become such a beautiful, powerful woman. And I didn't realize that by being a closer that I was going to do this for other women. I wasn't just selling them a program. I'm selling them a whole new life. And since I've been taking these calls, you know, it was my first one and it was someone who is international and I couldn't understand her. And I said, you know what? We are all the same. God, source, higher power, creator, whatever your word is, created all of us. We're energy. I'm going to drop in and feel her energy. And the second I did that, she shifted, I shifted, and we got deep and vulnerable. And she started telling me things that she didn't even realize about herself. oh my gosh, my body's buzzing.
Me
And
too.
and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And it changed from me taking a strategy call to me having a heart connected conversation with another woman. And the second a woman turns internally and is able to see what's going on inside herself is the moment her life begins to shift in the most beautiful ways possible. It's the tip of the iceberg. And I realized that's what I'm doing. I'm helping these women. Oh my gosh, I'm got chills. I am helping these women become the women who they're meant to be, return home to themselves, to be confident, to be powerful, to be in their divine feminine energy. Like that's what I'm helping these women do. And I'm giving them a I'm giving. And that's what it is. And you said something that stuck with me because I did. It was like my first call. I was in my head and the second call, I was a little in my head. And then when I shifted into my body and I said, connect with her, you told me, you said, the second you're in your head thinking about how I can make this call better or how I can do this or how is the rest of the call going to go, you are out of service. You're thinking about yourself. And I realize these calls I get to take from my feminine energy. I get to just hold space for these women. I get to be the safe space for these women who have never experienced that before. And it is the most beautiful feeling. It goes way deeper than high ticket sales. It's service at the most beautiful, deepest level. And my heart has grown and grown and grown after each and every single one of these calls. And it's just, I'm in awe. I'm in awe.
You know, as you're talking, Haley, I can tell that your ego is not existing. Your feminine energy is flowing through your words like you're not even stuttering. And this is exactly what it means to be in service and to be taking calls. You're not in your head. You're flowing through your highest self right now, speaking right now. And, you know, being in high ticket sales, it's international work. You are going to be communicating with people all around the world. Now, we serve women. So speaking in the context of women, it doesn't matter what the words are. That's why it's only a very small percentage, the words that we say. The rest is the body language, the energy, the tonality, the inflection, the types of questions you're asking, the NLP that makes them look inward, all of that. And it's so funny too, because we reviewed Haley's call, her first call in Revenue Room. And I like to say the answer is yes. What is the question? Like that is our philosophy. And I told Haley, I'm like, hey, we're going to review your call in Revenue Room. She's like, okay. And then it was like minutes leading up to that, like the review. And you're like, oh, it just hit me. It's like, yeah, because you didn't spend that time thinking about it or getting nervous about it or talking yourself out of it. Like the ego did not come in. You're like, all right, moment's here, time to go time. And that's the mindset that you need, because when you have a day stacked full of calls, if we're spending any time stressing out or thinking about what ifs or any sort of energy leakage, it's going to leak our energy. And you've been able to hold so much energy into your day. I mean, I think about the wins that you post in Revenue Room, how as simple as being able to take your time while you eat your food, the mindfulness of being able to, I think of, what was it, the lemonade stand? Like, little things like that.
Stand.
Yeah, just being able to like be in a place of giving. And when we're in our feminine energy, we're just receiving. We're not overthinking. We're just being. That is truly our highest self. This is self-actualization. If you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, this is the pinnacle, the top of what self-actualization is. And you are constantly every day breaking through the ceiling of what that is, to the point where you're like, can I go any higher? Yes, I can. And you keep going higher, and you're open to being witnessed. You're open to the feedback. And that feedback loop is on a day-to-day scale. So every call you take, there's feedback. Feedback from yourself, feedback from us, feedback from the girls, feedback from the team. And the next day you implement it, and it gets easier and easier and easier. And now you're passing through calls. Yeah. And it's just this beautiful sisterhood. We have a group chat called Commission Queens.
We do.
And we just use that as a foundation to just like keep us in the energy, because that's what this type of leadership is about. It's not fake it until you make it. It's not toxic positivity. It's choosing to focus on what's going well and work through any of the shadow work that comes up. Because when the shadow work comes up, it's inevitable, of course, because every manifestation has a lesson on the other side. And as you've seen, Haley, even just in the business, like the shadow work we're going through right now to build the expansion of what's coming, like this is it. It's who we are in that. And you've been proving over and over how you show up in those times. And it's honestly, it's spectacular.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a journey and it's only been 2 months, which is so crazy. And I realized most of all, like I'm going deeper within myself as well. And like now I do have sisters who are on the journey with me and we're experiencing like communal shadow work together. And it's so crazy because I get to review like the calls that Abby or Raya takes or you take. And the second that I review it, the same thing happens on my call. And it's just like, what happens when we're all vulnerable and allow ourselves to be seen? Like it doesn't just help us, it helps everyone around us. And it's magical.
Yeah, it really is. And, you mentioned that on the sales call you had with me, you had fear coming up, like you worked through fear.
Oh.
What would you say? Because the woman listening right now,
Yeah.
I see you, by the way. Listener, I see you, babe. You're so close to dipping your toes in. You want it, whether you're a week in hearing about high ticket sales, a month, maybe even 6 months, and you're like, there's this like little gap of just coming to the other side. What would you say to that woman right now that's listening?
Guys, just do it. It's the only thing that is in your way is you and your mindset. Because I always heard on my journey, whatever is going to bring you this abundance and fulfilling life and all the things, it's not going to be comfortable when you take that leap. And when I was on that sales call with you, like I said, I knew that this was it. And I had this come up. I was like, oh, I just organized my finances. Like I'm getting good with my finances. And now I'm being asked to invest in this. And like, oh my gosh, what if I invest in this course and it doesn't work? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so bad with money. Here I go again. I'm about to spend it all. And I just was like, all of these beliefs. And then I was like, wait, do I even have enough money to do this? Like it was just getting so loud when it was getting time to say yes. And I was like, oh no, this is it. This is the part where you leap. This is the uncomfy part. Like it is uncomfy. And I remember saying to you, I said, Rahaf, I need to be so honest with you. It like all these memories from my past are coming up. My fears are coming up. I said, my body is burning. It hurts. Like I am contracting. I'm freaking out. And I was like, and I remember being like, I'll just save up the money, blah, blah, blah. And you held me in that space. And luckily, when you did that, I was able to just be honest with you. And I said, I'm going to be so vulnerable and transparent. This is what's coming up. And we did the snap and shift. And I remember my body just like went down. I was like, and it still didn't make sense as to how I was going to invest in this course at the time, mind you. And I remember saying, let's fucking do it. And I did it. And it's been fine, more than fine ever since. And that was my breakthrough moment. So like whoever's listening, if you're on the fence, your success is inevitable. It's just your mindset. You have to truly believe that this is it for you. You have to truly believe that this is going to get you to your vision. You have to hold that belief so strong because the fear is going to come up. Your life is going to feel like it's crumbling. It's going to get chaotic. You're going to say yes, and your bank account is going to start doing crazy things, but you have to believe that this is it for you so strong. And like you said, Rahaf, like you kind of have to just keep believing it until it just becomes embodied, because it will. If you can make it through the first 48 hours after saying yes, and you're in a community of amazing, supportive women who have been there. You can make it work. It doesn't matter what your bank account looks like. It doesn't matter about your old money story, that you were bad with money or that you made irresponsible financial decisions. The past doesn't matter. You're making a decision to choose this new future version of you. And it's going to work out, but you have to believe it. It's entirely up to you. And that's what I would say.
Wow. Once again, she did not stutter.
No.
Because it's not supposed to be comfortable. I think a lot of women think, oh, it's supposed to be comfortable. It's like, no, girly. Like, growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in discomfort. Because look at it this way. What's more expensive to you? Continuing to live the day-to-day of your life? Like, what if you didn't say yes, Haley? Like, you would still... Like, you left your job. Like, you are all in this. You are making commissions here. You've shown up as the leader that you were always meant to be because you took that leap with yourself. And if you did not take that leap with yourself, things would stay the same. That's more painful, in my opinion. That's more expensive, in my
100%.
opinion. So you just get to ask yourself the standard question: what is riskier? You continuing to do the day-to-day, being stuck in the rat race, or taking that bet on yourself, overcoming the limiting beliefs and pushing through it? And the only way out is through. And that's how you release the limiting beliefs. And you did that.
I did. And you know what? If you're listening, if you feel uncomfortable or if you feel like, oh, I might not, like, then you're in the right place. Because if you didn't feel that, it doesn't mean it would be right for you. If it felt easy, if it felt comfortable, then it's probably not for you. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to stretch you. It feels stretchy, as we always say. That's how you know you're making the right decision. And don't let logistics or anything get in your way, because the second you say yes, your mind starts looking for opportunities. It starts looking for possibilities. You start acting different and you start showing up as a new version of yourself, the version of yourself that invests in yourself.
Yeah. And as Mike says, if we're looking for a way out, look for a way in. And all you've done is just look for a way in. And, I just want to take a moment. Can you talk to us a little bit about like what the experience has been like for you in Revenue Room? What part of Revenue Room has been the most fulfilling? What the day-to-day in training and high ticket sales is like?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many pieces to this. One, I want to I mentioned this, high ticket sales, it's a frequency, it's an energetics business, it's a personal development business. So the fact that you're surrounded by other women who are on this journey with you, oh my goodness, I can't tell you what that will do for your life, because the conversations are different, the energy's different, the mindsets are different. You are supported and you are being held up by these high frequencies. So the second year's dip, if you just allow yourself to be held, you have a group of amazing, amazing women behind you. And it really does get to be easy. I was thinking this yesterday, the curriculum we have in Revenue Room, it is a literal roadmap handed to you. And if you just follow it and do everything it says. I remember in the curriculum, I was like week 1, week 2, week 3. And after each thing, it said, share your win. And one of the voices that came up, I was like, I am being so annoying. Like, I keep sharing these things. Like, I feel like I'm blowing up the chat, No, that is a game changer, because every time you share that, every time you allow yourself to be seen, you're plugging into the frequency. Every time you show up on a call, you're plugging into the frequency. And the more you do that, you just get higher and raise higher and raise higher. And that's why when you first start, you might be in a 9-to-5, you might have a job, but it starts dwindling because you have this new high frequency pulling you away. And then it just snaps. And that's what happened for me, and why it happened so fast is because the second I let go of this, I said, you know what? I have no choice, because it was scary. I said, I'm just going to plug into every single call that's on the calendar. I am going to connect with the women one-on-one and do these guided mocks. I'm just going to show up and I'm going to do the curriculum. I have this time and space I'm going to plug in. And I did. I got on these calls. I stayed up past my bedtime. But guess what? It was quantum leap after quantum leap, shift after shift. And my life looks and feels completely different because I plugged in to this community.
And it's the community, because being on this journey, it's scary because everybody in our physical world is putting in our ear, oh my God, is that a scam? Are you sure? Can you do this? Well, guess what? That's their mindset. That's their belief system. But you plugged into a group of women who are like, you got this. This is real. Here's the commissions I'm making. Like, we believe in you. And all you did was lean into this version of the life that you want instead of taking advice from people in the physical world that don't believe that. And we say it's like in that first month, just build that evidence, get the wins, and then you can go back and be like, hey, here's what I did. But there is that gap of time where you're like, you feel like you're by yourself, and you don't have to be by yourself. Plug in, lean in, go to a call, listen to a podcast episode. Like, you just got crafty in how you could just listen. And that is, in fact, why the job just stopped making sense. Going from full-time, going to part-time. Like, this is what we see with the women in there. It's like, just went part-time, just left my job. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And you said something so important, because one thing that I said, I was like, people have money beliefs. People have their own beliefs. I said, I'm not telling anyone. I'm not telling my family. I'm not telling anyone what I'm doing next. Even when I put in my 2 weeks, I kept it to myself. And I kept it to myself probably for like 2 months until I, one, was so positive that this was it for me. And also, two, like you said, there started being tangible proof. And I knew that was right. I knew this was right for me because I didn't want to tell anyone. I said, no, I am being intentional with my boundaries. I am not letting anything get in my way of this. I'm just doing it. And I didn't tell, like I said, my friends or family, but I kept plugging into this community where all of you women were cheering me on and holding me and, congratulating me win after win. So like, those were the voices that I got to program in my head. And then when it was time, I told my family, and honestly, they were like, I'm so happy for you. And they continue to say that. And that wouldn't have been the case if it was any earlier. It wouldn't have. But I knew that I had to be intentional with who I shared this with. And that makes such a big difference.
Yeah, because it really is. You are starting to build energetic boundaries with your energy so that it can stay focused on your transformation. And it's like, imagine like being in like this like shiny bubble, and every limiting belief from the people around us just poking holes in the bubbles, poking. And then energy leaks. And then it's like, we're trying to go, but we're leaking energy. And you're like, nope, I am choosing to let this bubble be strong. And I'm only letting in energy from the community. And that's what makes you go faster and faster and faster. So it makes so much sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That is probably one, like, if anyone's on this journey, be so intentional with your energy. You always hear it in these like success stories. Like, I didn't share my dreams with anyone. I didn't tell anyone until it was done. I get it. Because this is new. You're going to a place that no one has ever been before. Of course, they're not going to understand it. Of course, they're not.
Yep. And you're witnessing such a big growth inside Revenue Room right now. Like, we just launched the lobby. Like, if you haven't heard of the lobby, I built a free community for high ticket sales that's touching Revenue Room, which has a full mini course. It's honestly insane that this is all completely free. Haley is in there taking Q&A calls, so you can RSVP on the group call calendar. Haley is taking strategy calls. I'll put some stuff in the show notes so you can slide into my DMs and be like, Rahaf, I want to get on a strategy call with Haley. Guys, this is not a sales call. This is literally a strategy call to help you. She will melt your mind. She will melt your limiting beliefs that you have in what we call the blue pill world. So I'll put stuff in the show notes for you guys to see that. But honestly, like, I know some women are in that place of like, I just need to plug into the frequency. I just need to like see what's possible. I need to see these wins. That's what the lobby is for. And it just helps bridge that gap so much easier because then you're like, oh, okay, now this is making more sense. Now I can do this. Now I can step into this. And you've seen the lobby just growing. I think there's just
Oh,
there's like 70 total people right now in lobby and revenue room. It's honestly nuts, like the momentum that it's at. And the women are just all connecting with each other because in this level, it's all about networking. You are
mhm.
the 5 people you hang out with. That is your mindset. That is your dominant energy. So by you just seeing the amount of women that are networking and plugging in, it's like, that's
Yeah,
what this is all about. It feels like a sisterhood. It feels like home.
it does. And guys, when I tell you, being around women with such high frequencies, join the lobby. Join the lobby because it really is amazing. I can't believe it's free. It is such a beautiful place to take that first step. You're going to feel the energy of it. And, oh my gosh, to have access to that type of energy for free is unreal. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is the most actionable next step with zero investment to just show you what's possible. That's literally why I made it. I want this to be accessible to all women all around the world, to just put you in a space where you can start manifesting money. And also, that's not to say, oh, I need to have this money first before going in, because that's the blue pill mindset. And is that what you did, Haley? Did you wait until you had the full investment before taking that first step? Or what was your
No.
mindset behind money and just getting your foot in the door?
When I was on the call with you, I thought I needed the full investment. I thought I needed that. And I that's not how it worked out. And then even when I said, "Okay, let's do payments." I didn't know how I was going to make those payments work. I had no idea. But guess what? I've paid every single payment. And it's just worked out for me. And yeah, my beliefs, if I let my beliefs of how I thought about money get in the way of saying yes, I wouldn't be here. But I said yes, regardless of what my bank account looked like, what I believed about money, or what I needed in order to be in this program. I let that all go. And it's been more than okay every single time. The
Yeah.
second you say yes, it's going to, and let me tell you, you say yes, your bank account's going to start acting up the next day. You're going to have bills that you forgot about. You're going to have payments getting taken from your account. It's going to do that. But if you can make it through that, whew, it's
Yeah.
going to be okay. It's going to be more than okay.
It's like school. I mean, when you go to school, when you go to college, do you put down 100K in tuition at a time? It's the
No.
same thing. It's just because it's not the blue pill world, it's the red pill world. So there's all these stories around it of, oh my God, this and this. But it's like, no, money is energy. And when you have enough money firing you up, you show up harder. And that's why in high ticket, it's such deep energy work. And also, let's talk about the law of congruency. Girly, if you want to be a closer and you want to help people close high ticket, don't you think that you need to be able to walk that journey too? The analogy I think of and the analogy I talk about is, imagine, you've probably heard me say this, Haley, is like you're walking down a bridge. Like you see a bridge and it's a super shaky bridge, but you walked down that bridge before and you're taking your friend down that bridge. If you didn't walk down that bridge, would you be able to tell her, you can put your foot here, you can put your foot here, oh, grab onto here? Like you've walked that path. But if you have not had the opportunity to invest high ticket in yourself, you cannot by law help someone else walk that path too.
Mm.
Be the example, invest in yourself because it's energy. It's energy you're pouring into yourself. And a lot of these women, you do such a good job investing in other people. Like whether you're a mama, whether you're that girlfriend that just loves to spoil your boyfriend with gifts, like you are so good at investing in other people. It's about time you start giving yourself that same love.
1000%. Do it. Because if you are showing the universe, like the second you show the universe that you can invest in yourself and you're starting to prioritize yourself, guess what? The universe starts reflecting that back to you. Every choice you make that is for you. Any choice you make towards that future version of you, any choice you make to love yourself, guess what? Your whole reality starts reflecting it back to you. That's it.
Amen.
Amen.
I feel like I say this, but like we could keep talking. We could
Oh,
literally
yeah.
keep talking. This is why you've got to just come into the lobby, because Haley has a call. What, August 4th? We are entering the line.
August
We've already
18th.
entered.
Yeah.
Or August 18th.
Yeah, we have.
1/8. We are entering the Lionsgate portal. Like, we are officially in it.
It's
And
open.
this is that moment. Like, lean in. She has a call scheduled. If not, book a strategy call. Like, just DM me. Just get in the energy, plug in, get access to this energy. And besides that, Haley, is there anything else coming up that you want to share with a listener, that you want to share about your journey?
Well, thank you for that, Rahaf. I just want to say, whoever's listening, even if you don't know what high ticket sales is, please DM Rahaf. Please book a strategy call with me, because I truly believe that it's going to change your life at the very bare minimum. And there's no right or wrong answer. You don't have to join Revenue Room, but I would love a conversation with you, because if I let any doubts or fears or not knowing enough about high ticket sales get in the way, I wouldn't be feeling this right now. And like, I just want to cry every day of tears of gratitude. It's just, I would have never pictured my life being this way. And it's just, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm just like, who are you? Like, you are the woman that I've wanted to be for so long. And I truly know that it was stepping into Revenue Room that got me there. So please, if you're thinking about it or just want to have a conversation, I would love to connect with you. But yeah, just anything else. Like I've said it so many times, guys, this is a personal development journey. This is energy work. This is a belief in yourself. This is a faith journey. It's not going to make sense at first, because it is spiritual. And before my spiritual journey, I didn't know what spirituality was. I had no idea. But that's why you have a community of women who are there to guide you, to show you the way. It's the only limit is your mind. And, if you don't know where to start with creating a vision for your life. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your life to feel like? I always say it's like plugging a destination into the GPS. How do we know where we got to go if we don't have a destination? So if you don't have a grand vision for your life, if time doesn't matter, if money doesn't matter, what does that big vision? Start there, and don't worry about the how. It's going to reveal itself. But it's just your mindset. You just have to create that vision and just start saying yes to these choices or decisions that are leading you to your new life and not your old one. That's how we break the loops. That's how we break the cycles. You just have to start saying yes. So, yeah.
I love that you mentioned that you don't need to know the how, because I think a lot of women get stuck on that. Like, oh, I need to know the how. It's like, no, not in this world. Your brain has not experienced the how yet. So you get to help your brain by visualizing the highest vision for yourself. Then the how comes in. It's just so often, it's like this constant chicken or egg scenario. Once I have this, then I can do this. Once I have this, it's like, no, you become that first. You build the self-concept, and then the external comes in, and then you see the how. But your brain is going to rack around looking the how over here, but look at your life. Like, you have not experienced it yet. So that's where that trust comes in. That's where betting on yourself comes in. That's where pulling evidence from people around you in community who are already doing it. That's how you find the how. That's how you create the how. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
And I just want to say the thing about the how, you guys, when I created my vision, my grand vision for myself 6 years ago, it wasn't high ticket sales. There were so many different things in between that I let go of. And then high ticket sales appeared, and then it just all clicked like, oh my gosh, I'm in my vision. I did it. I manifested this. So the how is going to reveal itself. It is. That's not for you to worry about.
Nope. You just have to trust. You have to look higher than you. You have to look around you, and then you look within you. at that 2.0 version of you. So good, Haley. I've been like buzzing this entire podcast episode.
I was like, I can't tell you how many times I got chills. They just stayed.
Me too. And something tells me that we had chills at the exact same time. Like,
agreed.
The women in here, like, we're all connected. It is not by accident that we are all in here together. Like, we're meant to walk this journey together. And if you want to feel like you belong, like you have friends that get this new life that you're stepping into, that's why community is so powerful. And thank you so much, Haley, for coming on here and for sharing your story and for sharing what's possible and the how behind the transformation and the quantum leaping. Like, you've given us so many tangible things.
Thank you for having me, Rahaf. You know, like I said, I'm just watching my gifts be put to use, and I just want to give back to the woman I once was, and Revenue Room is the opportunity to do so. And I'm just so incredibly grateful. Every time an opportunity presents itself, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. And I have all this wisdom and this knowledge, and like to be able to share it is just so fulfilling. And I'm so grateful from the bottom of my heart.
This is what you were put on this earth to do. Like, you are finally living out your deepest soul's purpose.
I am.
And I think that's the biggest gift, is being able to put your head down on your pillow at night and know that you truly showed up for yourself that day. That is the biggest gift. Not having to be 80 years old looking back on your life and being like, God, I wish I did that. I wish I went all in. Because at the end of the day, is there any amount of money that could possibly get in the way of you not being able to live that life and reach retirement and be like, what the hell? Where did all my time go? That is so painful.
So painful.
And this is the expansion. I love
it is.
This was such a beautiful episode, Haley. I have a feeling that there's going to be a part 2. Something tells me there's going to be a part 2. So keep your eyes peeled. We're going to have like every week. I can't even, it's like, I remember we had our meeting and we're like, oh, we're a team of 7 now. And then you were like, oh, like, we don't know when it's going to be team 8. It's like, it just keeps growing. So trust yourself that when you step into a journey like this, you're not going to know what your next day looks like, because your day is going to be so full of wins that you're just following your purpose. So thank you for coming on here and sharing your story. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll put stuff in the show notes. Hop on a call with Haley. Just connect with her energy. Let her help you through some shifting and melting your mind. And besides that, we'll see you next week on the Really Raw podcast. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
If this episode resonated with you, if something clicked, stretched you, or made you see what's possible, share it and tag me on Instagram at Radiant Rahaf so I can hype you up properly. And if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a 5-star review so more women who are ready to step into high-ticket sales and reclaim their freedom can find this space. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for you already. See you next Tuesday.